Albert. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lee, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Zebra V-301. If you saw my last video, you know that I purchased a set of fountain pens from Jet Pens and have endeavored to review each one as a way to broaden my horizons on affordable fountain pens so that I can better suggest the best quality pens to new fountain pen users. And since I already have a satisfying little collection of pens, I've decided to do a giveaway with each of these pens. So at the end of the video, you'll have an opportunity to leave a comment in the comment section down below and subscribe to the channel. And that will make you eligible for winning this pen. Um, and also, if I guess the only caveat to that is that you will need to watch the other 3 videos in this pen review series. So, what this review is going to entail is I'm going to do a quick overview of the pen itself. Then I'm going to do a writing sample with the pen. And lastly, a drawing sample with the pen. After I do all of that, I will do a quick little summary and that'll be it. For the writing sample, you guys haven't seen this book yet. This is my storybook. So this is what I use to, I guess, write journal entries that took place in my past. So instead of incorporating those types of things into my daily journal, this storybook holds memories from years past that I want to preserve and reflect on. So for each of these pens, I'm going to write a little story and draw a little picture, and I hope that will give me enough of an idea as to whether the quality of the pen. So without further ado, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel and leave any comments in the comments section down below, whether you want a pen or not. And let's go ahead and jump into it. So here is the Zebra V-301 fountain pen. This is a reusable fountain pen made out of metal, and it's got an interesting little nib here. Definitely different than some of the other ones. I'm starting my review process with this pen because I feel the most personally drawn to it. It came with 2 ink cartridges like this. I am probably, and I'm going to try not to use the ink cartridges that come with these pens because I want to be able to give them to whichever viewer wins the pen. So I'm going to see if I can find a cartridge that will fit this pen in my little stash here. Let's give it a try. Maybe there's a chance that the Kuretake ones will work. So I think these Kuretake cartridges, these are designed for the Kuretake brush pen. I think this is going to work. And let's see how long it takes to write. really nice fine tip, and so far seems like a pretty consistent um, line. So I'm pretty happy with that just on the get-go. So what I'm going to do is get a little experience with this pen and just write a little story in my book. Story number 4. The time I broke my wrist. When I was a kid, specifically 13 years old, my dad always took us to this hippie bar called Sadlax. It was a sandwich joint, music venue, bar combo located across from the bell tower at NC State University on Hillsborough Street. Back then, this was an area of town allocated to the misfits, weirdos, punks, and old bohemian hippies, not to be confused with the hipsters of the early 2000s. Outside Sadlax in the adjacent parking lot, about a 5 to 6 foot drop from the Sadlax patio, was an old pawn shop, cool skater stoner store called Buddha's Belly, and the Bell Tower Mart, which, if you were in the know, contained a hidden arcade complete with Tekken 3, Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, and a full-size pool table. It was a budding teenager's cool kid fantasy hangout come to life. One day, while hanging out at Sadlax with my dad and sister Mary after finishing the iconic sandwich, the John Hill's Delight, while sitting on the ledge which dropped into the Buddha's Belly parking lot on the other side, I decided to emulate something I had seen in 90s films which romanticized the dingy life of a poet or musician. I decided to stand on the ledge from a seated position. In my lack of experience executing such tasks, as soon as I pulled my heels up to the ledge, while in a crouched position, in slow motion, I found myself falling backwards in a radial pattern, anchored around the ledge until gravity fully took hold, and I fell backwards the 5 or 6 feet into the parking lot below. Stunned but seemingly okay, I got up as my dad and sister watched from above. I felt like an idiot. When I made it back to the Sadlax patio, my dad examined my wrist. I was sure that as I fell, my hands had been raised above my head, but as my dad gently poked and prodded my wrist, I learned a bit about human instinct. It does not always link to the conscious mind. I think your wrist is broken, my dad said. I'm taking you to the emergency room. And so off we went to Wake Med, where I was given a wheelchair, cold pack, and pillow to rest my arm on. After being x rayed and delivered to an examination room, I was met by a doctor who squeezed and poked and prodded my wrist. When the x ray came back, he confirmed that the end of, I believe, my ulna bone had been broken clean off. So I just wrote about 3 pages worth in my book with the Zebra V-301. Just a quick little recap on that. It was a really pleasant writing experience. The only time the pen ever skipped was when I would pause to think about what I was going to write. Then it would take a few scratches for it to start again. But other than that, it delivered a beautiful, clean, fine, consistent line. And yeah, no complaints on that front. The next thing I'm going to do to test the pen is do a little sketch in my traveler's notebook. I decided instead of using my traveler's notebook that I was going to use this toned gray mixed media paper. And after I finish the drawing, it is actually going to be included in the giveaway of the pin. So if you enjoy the drawing, that's an opportunity to get yourself a nice little piece of original art. So, without further ado, Albert was just being really cute, so I had to put that footage in there. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and jump back into the story for a little bit. So, we left off where I had just broken my bone clean off. The doctor informed us that he would need to set the bone. So, In rolled a nurse pushing a strange contraption, a rack with finger traps dangling by hooks. The doctor injected what looked like 2 or 3 ounces worth of pain numbing fluid, warning me that it would burn terribly before the pain subsided. I don't remember that bit coming to pass, but I was applauded for the way I bore it. When they set the finger of my hands in the finger traps and hung a weight from my elbow and left for a while. The idea was to let gravity pull the bones apart enough for the doctor to have room to set the bone in the correct configuration to heal. For a while, I sat and watched as my hand turned splotches of pink and purple, and then yellow and white from the lack of blood flow. Then the doctor came back in and stated that my dad would be required to leave the room for the next part of this adventure. The reason being multiple occasions of fathers punching out doctors when setting bones of daughters. The doctor proceeded to gently nudge the bone back into place with my arm still in the vise. He told me that the vice had done most of the work of setting my bone and finished the job. I remember only a small amount of pain in this process. Then they let my dad back in. They tried to give me a purple cast, which I rallied against because I was a tomboy and I thought purple was too girly. I was fed up with pinks and purples being forced on me when my favorite colors were blue and green. So they gave me an ugly white cast with a texture too rough for anyone to sign. I went home that day with a strange sense of pride, as if I had completed some kind of rite of passage. A week later, my dad took us back to Sadlax, and I ate another John Hill's Delight with one hand. The bartender marveled at such a feat. Okay, so here is the drawing. It's pretty simple, but I think it turned out really nice. And just a a little recap of how the experience was using this pen to draw. It was great. I really enjoyed using this pen to draw. The only issue I had with it, aside from it just being a really fine nib, which is challenging to fill in blocks of space, but that's not really a flaw of the pen. It's just a personal preference for drawing. Um, but yeah, aside from that, it was just the same issue that I had when writing, which is that when I paused for a little while to think about what my next move was, the nib would dry a little bit. Also, when I first opened the nib after it was sitting here for a little while, it did take a little bit for the ink to start flowing again. So, that is it. My overall review of the pen is that it is a really lovely pen. I really enjoyed using it. I would 100% recommend it to anybody who likes a fine point pen. It would be great for taking notes in class. It would be great for drawing and writing. And as long as you can handle the occasional skipping, which is honestly like I have that happen with some of my most expensive pens, so really I think it's a moot point. So yeah, overall, that is the uh, Zebra V-301. If you would like to win this pen, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment in the comment section down below why you would like this pen, and as they're coming out, watch the other videos in this series and comment on those as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.